Hey guys, it's Anthony Bandio here with Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing you another roadside chat, and this time I'm in Surprise, Arizona. Great class. I'm doing advanced search and seizure, advanced criminal investigations, bulletproof report writing this week. So if you haven't been to one of my live classes, in person or on Zoom, you got to join us and really become a search and seizure expert. So this question is, when can cops search a hotel room? All right. So this situation comes up under various circumstances. You know, people are getting evicted from the hotel room. The occupancy has been, completed, and they leave, and now the cops want to go in there and, search around. So basically, the first premise is that hotel rooms do enjoy a lot of protection, right? They are quasi homes. They're not homes. They have real world consequences. People can be evicted on a moment's notice for violating rules and so forth. But they have real world consequences. So let's first talk about evicting people. Now, check out your state law. There might be some differences here, but generally speaking, hotels have a common law right to evict people for cause. Common law means that it was judge-made law, right? This has been around for a long time. We don't really necessarily have a statute on this, but the courts will allow it under common law, right? And it's for eviction for cause. That means that we are evicting people for fighting, partying, smoking, and various other, policy violations, something somewhat serious. And so they have that right. They can recover the room at a moment's notice if the people are violating the terms of the occupancy. Cops arrive on these scenes, and what are cops really doing? They are doing civil standbys, right? So that's one thing I want to kind of keep in mind, is that these are not criminal investigations. These are civil standbys. And what I mean by that is you got to let the hotel decide what to do. This is not your call. You're not the one, encouraging, directing the manager to kick these people out. That's not your call. That's their call. If you do encourage them, direct them to kick people out for certain reasons, there's an argument that you're turning the manager of the hotel into your agent, and you don't have the authority to remove people from rooms because they smoked and so forth. So, just remember that. So let the hotel make the decisions. Okay, you can certainly give your opinion, but leave the decision up to them. Now, once the hotel has decided that they are going to evict the person for cause, the eviction is immediate, essentially, right? I mean, that is the way it works. It's immediate. So you knock on the door, you get them to answer. They start. You basically say, hey, look, the manager wants you out. You start, getting them to get their stuff together. How much time do they have? Look, it's a civil standby, right? So do what you normally do for civil standbys. Typically, 15 minutes, depending on how much stuff they have. Have the hotel play a part in this. But if the hotel says we'll give them an hour, you're gonna be like, well, I don't have an hour. So if you're looking for a civil standby, I'm out of here, right? In 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, you may have to give some feedback to the manager that you don't have all day. All right. Can you enter the room during the eviction? Yes, but have a reason for it, right? Have a reason for it, especially if there's any allegation or evidence that the people could be dangerous to you. They could try to, barricade themselves into the room. They're highly intoxicated, so, they could be a safety issue, make bad decisions, do something stupid like try to attack police officers or damage property. I would have a reason, okay? You probably don't need much, but you want something here. Now, when you go into the room, can you search around? The answer is no, don't do that, because they're still in the room. They are being evicted, but I don't think it's going to be reasonable to start looking through the drawers, refrigerator, and all the stuff when they're actively getting their stuff together. So don't do that. So, if you think there's a weapon somewhere, you can seize it. You can, maintain proper safety precautions. But basically, when the room becomes truly abandoned is at the point where they're out. So let's say 15 minutes goes by, they grabbed all their stuff and they're out. Well, whatever's left is, fair game if it's controlled or owned by the hotel. So dresser drawers, refrigerators, safes, toilet bowl tanks, that's all fair game. What about stuff that they leave behind, like a backpack, a suitcase, and so forth? Well, the next question is that stuff abandoned? If they just leave it there, strewn about like near the trash can and so forth, it's probably abandoned. But if they tell you, look, we can't grab all our stuff because our buddy has the car and we'll come back for this later, it's not abandoned, so you cannot search it under abandonment. You're going to have to let the hotel do whatever they want. Now, if the hotel says, hey, officer, do you want me to search this stuff? You're going to have to tell them, hey, look, I can't tell you to search or not to search. Do whatever you're going to do. And we go from there, right? You don't want to turn the manager into your agent. Again, these are civil issues. You don't have a right to go through people's unabandoned property. If the motel is going to give you the backpack for safekeeping because that's their policy, then you go from there and you search it under inventory. However, if you do have a primary motive, if you think that there's going to be evidence in here and you have probable cause, well, go get a warrant, right? Go get a warrant. That's, don't use inventory searches as a ruse to get into backpacks. Well, there you go. Now, the next question next issue I want to bring up is this: when are hotel rooms, when does the occupancy end on a hotel room? Well, it ends when they check out. So if the checkout is at 11 a.m., but they check, for hotel checkout is 11 a.m., but they choose to check out earlier at 9 a.m., well, then the room is done. They have no more privacy expectation. But if you arrest a person at 10:30 a.m. and you take them to jail, they have not been evicted, right? They have not been evicted. They do not lose their privacy interest until the hotel would have kicked them out. Here's what I mean by this. Many hotels have 11 a.m. checkout. Okay, that's official. That's on the door. That's when you sign in and so forth. I get that. But most hotels have a grace period. They'll say 11 a.m., but their business practice is to allow them to stay there until 1 p.m., and at that point, they're going to call it. You either got to go or you got to re-up on the room. You want to find out what that grace period is, if any, because that is the end of their reasonable expectation of privacy. Therefore, if you arrest a person at 10:30 a.m., the checkout period is 11 a.m., and then you go into the room at 11:30 a.m., and you start looking around, you find evidence in plain view. But the defendant gets an affidavit from the hotel that says, our business practice is 1 p.m. We would have given this guy the opportunity up to 1 p.m. to re-up on the room. He is going to argue that you violated his reasonable expectation of privacy because he could have gotten somebody to re-up on the room, right? Now, whether this works or not is up to the court, but it's not a frivolous argument. So if you are going to go back into the room, I want you to find out when the grace period ends. Let's say it's 1 p.m. and then go into the room after the grace period and search what? Search anything that the hotel owns. Dressers, safes, refrigerator, and so forth. Whether or not you can search his property post-arrest is determined by whether or not it's been abandoned. Most likely not, because he's been arrested. There's no indication there that he doesn't want his stuff. Man, we're almost at 10 minutes here. That's way longer than I'd like to go. I'm going to end it off on that. I hope I moved the ball forward on this at least a little bit. It's a great question. And until next time, stay safe.
When it comes to legal training, we're the gold standard. Visit bluetogold.com or call 888-579-7796 today to purchase the Search and Seizure Survival Guide, register for a class, or learn how to bring our search and seizure training to your agency.